Hi, students. We have a special holiday coming up. Let's count how many days until Turkey Day. 1, 2, 3. 3 days until we celebrate a holiday called Thanksgiving. So this week, even though it's short, each day I'll teach you a few reading, writing, math, and science activities that are related to Thanksgiving. Let's start with the meaning of Thanksgiving and the history behind it. Hi, kids. Let's read the story of the first Thanksgiving, written by Elaine Raphael and Dawn Bolognese. Goodbye to England. On a bright September day in 1620, the Pilgrims said goodbye to family and friends. They were leaving England to find a new home far across the ocean in America. There, they hoped to be free to worship God in their own way. The Mayflower's voyage. This is the Mayflower. The voyage was long and stormy. In fact, it lasted 66 days. Huge waves washed across the deck of the Mayflower. The Pilgrims were sick and fearful. It was not a happy or comfortable trip. They did find hope in the courage and the skill of Master Jones and his crew of sailors. On a clear November morning, a sailor sighted land. At last, the weary Pilgrims had reached America. Plymouth, their first homes. Boys and girls, Plymouth is now known as Cape Cod, Massachusetts. Winter had begun, and the Pilgrims needed homes. They were eager to go ashore and begin building. On land, they found cleared fields and deep green forest that grew to the edge of the sea. They cut down huge trees to make beams. They gathered dry reeds to thatch roofs. Then, on Christmas Day, they began to build. They're beginning a new life here. Are they alone? We'll see. By the fire. Outside was all white with frost and snow, but inside each house had a fire burning. The women cooked pottage over the coals. They patched their worn clothes by the light of the fire. They kept the little children close to its warmth. At the end of the day, the fire gave comfort to the cold and tired men. Look at them. Look, this is how they were cooking things back then, with fires. They've got some chickens and some eggs. A promise. That winter, many of the Pilgrims became very sick. They weren't used to living this way, and they didn't have the skills. Some of them died. But those who could cared for others, and they prayed to God for help. Then, in March, they had a surprise. Native Americans came to offer friendship. The Pilgrim leader and the native chief met. They feasted and talked. They made a promise to help each other. One Indian decided to stay with the Pilgrims. He spoke English, and his name was Squanto. This is Squanto right here. Spring had come. It was time to plant. The Pilgrims planted peas and barley they brought from England. They knew nothing about growing Indian corn, so Squanto showed them. He also told them where to hunt and how to fish in this new land. The Pilgrims praised God for sending Squanto to them. The harvest. The green leaves of summer turned to red and gold. The corn grew tall. The stalks became dry and yellow. Plump orange pumpkins covered the fields. Wild geese filled the blue autumn sky, and brown feathered turkeys gobbled everywhere. The Pilgrims began to gather the corn and the pumpkins. It was time to give thanks to God for a good harvest. The first Thanksgiving. On a sunny October day in 1621, Governor Bradford declared a time for Thanksgiving. The women and the children put pots of pudding to simmer on the hearth. Fat geese and wild turkeys roasted slowly over the fire. Pies and cornbread baked in outdoor ovens. I actually read somewhere else that the things we eat for Thanksgiving were not the things that they ate on the first Thanksgiving. Like they ate deer meat and crab and like cranberries and other things that we might not eat nowadays. Chief Massasoit and his people came with gifts. Then, with songs and prayers, the feast began. The Thanksgiving celebration lasted 3 days. Everyone ate and sang and played games. Together, the Pilgrims and Indians grew in friendship. Sometimes. Wow, and then the back of this book kind of teaches you how to draw some of the English settlers and some of the Native Americans. Wow. The turkey. Wow, we did so well, you guys. Nice job. Thank you for listening to me read that story. Be sure to check out the cartoon below to also see a little bit more about the first Thanksgiving. And now, in your orange binder, you're ready for your first page this week. The story and history of the first Thanksgiving. Have a parent or older sibling help you read these sentences that review what happened. Then, go ahead and try to color these little pictures. You have 2 more pages to do today, but I'll explain those in other videos.